Yes, good beginning afternoon, everybody. This is Emma Balayre speaking. I'm sitting here together with Myriam, and we hope to present you a wrap-up of the new European program Horizon Europe, and also provide you some information regarding the start. So, Myriam, maybe briefly introduce yourself.
Yes, good beginning of afternoon to everybody. So I'm Myriam Protiere, I'm a team leader consultant at Ayming for 11 years now, working on the setting up of European projects, mainly in the domain of energy and environment.
Thanks, Myriam. We are indeed very happy to have Myriam with us. Of course, she's a great consultant. She has a great knowledge in the field. So myself, I'm Emma. I've been working at Ayming for 20 years now in various aspects, but of course very much concerning the product setting up aspects. So our ambition today is of course to talk about the Horizon Europe. So before starting, we wanted to make a short poll together with all of you, and we have a poll regarding the main changes that will be brought by the Horizon Europe program. So if normally you should see a poll appearing, so just tick the box that seems to be the most interesting or regarding change, of course, and we will share together results. I'm still waiting for some
Okay. Yes, sorry for this inconvenience. So we will we have a problem. We have problem with the computer, but normally you should see now. No, regarde. No, please. Let us know. Normally, you should see the screen. We are really sorry about this technical problem. Most of you tick the more focused on impact, almost 60% box. 20% think about simplification and 20% about increased budget. And all of you are right, of course. Yes, very well, all good answers. Yes, in the philosophy, we can think about three really important features, which are focusing on impact, as you mentioned, which we already faced with this change between the FP7 and Horizon 2020, but now Horizon Europe will go a step further, and it will be much more focused on impact. And
yeah, for that we will be more discussing this later on. Of course, you will see that when you will be looking into the official documents and so on. But clearly, impact is an important issue. Another very important issue is the citizen aspect. I mean, obviously, we all know that the European Commission and European Union as such is facing major problems, and not speaking about the Brexit issue, of course, but whatever. They need to justify why European Union is important for European citizens, obviously, and they really want the citizen to be aware of how research and innovation can contribute to improve their daily lives and the daily concerns. And that is much more present than ever within the programs. And last but not least, obviously, climate change, that is something that is being discussed extremely much these last years. And this is also, again, a very strong focus in the new program. I mean, most of the different thematics and key issues always try to find a position and try to convince how they can contribute to this climate change aspect. So that is really the most important change in philosophy, according to us.
Regarding the structure itself, I think all of you already have seen this picture, but we keep the structure in 3 pillars, and there is the topic on the area on widening participation and strengthening the European research area, which is sometimes called Pillar 4, but we don't know if it will be officially the Pillar 4 at the end. So Pillar 1 stays, I would say, almost the same as in Horizon 2020, which is focused on excellent science and gathers ERC, Marie Curie actions, and research infrastructure. So the FET Open moves to Pillar 3, which is dedicated to Innovative Europe and also gathers European Innovation Council. We'll talk about this more in detail later on. European Innovation Ecosystem and European Innovation Institute of Innovation and Technology. Former Pillar 2 and Pillar 3, which were on industrial competitiveness and societal challenges, are kind of merged in a new Pillar 2, which is called Global Challenges and European Industrial Competitiveness, and which is articulated around 6 clusters, which are health, culture, creativity, and inclusive society, the civil security for society, digital industry and space, climate, energy, and mobility, and the last one is targeting food, bioeconomy, natural resources, agriculture, and environment. So regarding the budget, this is still in progress because European member states have to agree, and this is a process that takes a lot of time. So usually, normally, to be adopted for the 1st of January, the budget has to be voted by the 13th of June. So we are already a bit late, but they say that if they agree upon during the new meeting, which is on 17th of July, if I'm right, if they agree, if they reach and succeed in agreeing in one time, which has never happened before, the program could be, the budget could be adopted really soon.
Yeah.
So as you see, it's 94.4 billion euros for Horizon Europe, which is more than Horizon 2020, but there are a lot of polemic because people wanted up to 120 billion euros. At the moment, this is rather in the range of 100 billion euros. And as you see, so the budget for Pillar 2 is really important, and it's more important than the addition of budget of current Pillar 2 and 3 in Horizon 2020. For being really practical, the budget for the first year in 2021 is 70.3 billion euros, which is 30% more than the budget of the 2020 year, which is 13.5 billion euros. So at the moment, there is money, but it has to be voted. And there is also an increasing funding due to the COVID-19, as you are aware. And so for 2021, focus will be really on health and climate-oriented research. So now, what can we say about the planning? Because we assume this is a question really important for you, for everybody.
We all have the same question, sadly enough. When will this start? I think we were supposed to have a poll, but I'm not sure that we can set this poll, but maybe. Okay, we'll try.
Okay.
Oh, that was the former poll.
Oh,
so
yes.
we need to select a new poll here.
Yes, sorry. Oh.
If we can.
Yeah. Okay, yes, sorry.
Now, hopefully, yes, you will see a poll.
Yeah, we let you 1 minute.
Yeah, so do you think that the program will be on time?
Yeah, do you think that it will be delayed by 3 months? Do you think that a delay is expected, but the Commission is launching action to fill the gap between Horizon 2020 and beginning of Horizon Europe? Or do you think that, unfortunately, the delay will be longer?
Okay, you are many to be kind of agreeing on a single entry here, I see. Of course, we have more ambitions. Okay, maybe I think we will try to share this with you. Okay, let's see if we can share. There you go.
So 15% think that it will be on time, 40 that we will have a 3 months delay, 25 that delay is expected, but there will be things in between, and 20% that unfortunately the delay will be longer.
I can say that I guess that all the answers are possible, sadly enough, even though that, of course, what we think is the most likely is maybe the 3 months delay, sadly enough. But one never know, maybe they will get started and agreeing on the budget, and then it might be on time still. So let's be optimistic and make a nice wish for the future. So what we've been, of course, trying to contact different national contact points and try to see what are the inside info that is not really available for everybody, maybe, to have this better vision on how we can at least be aware of the next steps. So regarding, hopefully in September, we will be, sorry, we went too far there. Hopefully in September, we will have a first draft of the work program, and there will be a consultation related to the topics, because of course there are work programs existing today, but those are just general introduction about the scope. We don't know yet what will be the scopes open for 2021 specifically. Hopefully in October there will be a second draft, and in November they hope to have a last draft that most likely will be published at least, and then we will have a clear adoption of work program in December. But again, this is really what most of the national contact points have given us, like as info. Maybe it can be different for some teams or some sectors. So that's it. Now, next, what do we know about some of the aspects? Well, we're trying to see with the NMVP, well, that's the former Horizon 2020 acronym. We should have changed that one, but that is like the cluster 4, for instance. They have no idea yet about the possible open dates. Everything is extremely vague, and same goes for energy and environment. So sadly enough, we do not know anything about that. However, what we know is the ERC calls, but I guess that you are not many that are maybe interesting about this. But anyhow, if you are, at least they have published call opening dates and so on. You see it on the slide, and do not hesitate to get back to us if you have any questions. Also related to Marie Curie actions, maybe some of you are interested in those. Most likely the deadline will be in March or April instead of January. That is a bit surprising though, because normally they say, okay, Pillar 1, we are ready to start, but obviously they are not that ready as they say. So that will be a change, and it might be interesting for you if you have possibly some projects ongoing. And related to future and emerging technologies, we also contacted them, but no clear vision either. Most likely, they say, as everybody, Q1 and Q2, whatever, in 2021. So sadly enough, we can't give you much more data on this, but when we receive, we will, of course, publish this on our Slack platform, and we will discuss it further on. Now, concerning the next subject, the differences. Myriam, what can you say?
Yes, the main differences between Horizon Europe and Horizon 2020 that, as we pointed out, we went for, so LEIT was the pillar 2 and societal challenges was the pillar 3. And now there were 13 parts and 69 activity lines, which is quite a lot. And so they try to rationalize this and to kind of merge things in larger thematics. And so we go to 6 clusters we already described and to less than 40 intervention areas.
I think if you really have a look on these 6 clusters, I mean, it's unchanged for most of them, except for the cluster 4, which is digital industry and space. So this is really where ICT and NMVP goes together, and the space issues, of course. And this do change a bit the scenarios. I mean, they will be struggling among them for the budget issues, of course. So it can be a change. But what is really interesting, of course, they have really integrated in this aspect the circular industry and stuff. So it's a very interesting cluster to follow up on, to my opinion, and new ideas regarding policies and so on. So
yes,
great.
and
yeah,
we can see that social and human sciences are really important because there is a dedicated cluster to this.
Yeah.
So, so this was more and more important, and this will become even more important in Horizon Europe.
Yeah.
So the main lessons learned from Horizon 2020 interim evaluation that have been identified by the Commission and that led the Commission to make changes and to adapt Horizon Europe structure and way of thinking is that we should support breakthrough innovation in a much more efficient way that it was done, which means that the European Innovation Council, which is already tested at the moment, will have much more importance in the Horizon Europe work program, framework program. Sorry. Another important thing is, as we discussed at the beginning, is that we should create more impact for the citizens and also try to involve more the citizens. And this will be ensured thanks to research and innovation missions. We will detail each of these points afterwards. That's why we don't give too many detail at this stage. There are 5 missions regarding specific topic, which has really high level and high frame
involvement on citizens and the global community, one can say. Yeah.
4 other points that we should, there is international cooperation in Horizon 2020, but it should still be strengthened. So there will be extended association possibilities in Horizon Europe with countries that with which it is not so easy today to do it in practice.
Yeah, concerning that issue, I guess that most of you are asking yourself, what will UK be doing? Because that is the question we all ask ourselves. And sadly enough, we have nothing new on this. Well, of course, they are still struggling to understand how they want to position themselves. But regarding the budget of 94 million euro, to our opinion, is really based excluding UK. So I don't know whether if they will join, will the budget be increased? Will they be contributing to the budget directly? We don't know at this stage. But for the time being, sadly enough, we must consider UK as a third country.
Yes. So another point is to reinforce openness, thanks to a reinforced open science policy and mandatory open access and so on. But we will come back to this later on. Another issue is that we observe that there are a lot of funding instruments which are not easy to handle, and the complementarity is not easy to see when you want to apply for public European funding. So they want to rationalize the funding landscape, which is a real need. And so a new approach to partnership will be proposed. And the final point is that we should encourage participation, because many people are participating, but many are not. And this is the willingness of Horizon Europe to make it more open and to have as many people as possible participating in this. And so then excellence will be more spread. And for the for participation, the main keywords will be continuity and simplification, always simplification.
They always simplify according to them. But in any case, I think, of course, we will most likely have a monthly seminar more related to the model grant agreement, but it will most likely on the second part of the year, because there are, of course, some modifications and to discuss. So regarding the European Innovation Council, okay, something is blocked. I don't know why we can't follow up. Sorry, you do not see the same slide that we do. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, try to open it again. Okay, sorry, something got wrong. Now, you see the same thing as us, I think, the European Innovation Council. Okay, so this is really a new institution. It was a pilot action under the Horizon 2020, of course. And in this part of the program, you will, of course, find the former SME Instrument, and you will also find the former Future and Emerging Technologies. So these are, of course, now renamed. So you have the Pathfinder and you have the Accelerator. So this is, okay, the Pathfinder, obviously, really early stage and high risk. So that is more or less Future and Emerging Technologies as it was. And Accelerator, it's, of course, obviously rather to support SMEs and replaces, so to say, the SME Instrument. Next issue we wanted to see with you was the
missions. Yes.
Yeah, that is a funky business. Okay, no, but I mean, obviously these research and innovation missions, it's a bit politics, one can say, because again, the issue is that European Commission wants to justify their existence, and the European Union, sorry, it's not only the Commission, but obviously the European Union want to say that European Union is extremely interesting for all the citizens to have a better life, kind of. So they wanted to handle projects more on a portfolio basis, one can say, try to define common goals while implementing complementary projects. And they also wanted to have a better visibility, so like clearly communicating on the actions that the European Union is making on those specific missions, and they will involve people outside of Europe, most likely in the boards and stuff, to really have a global communication worldwide. And the European Commission decided to select 5 topics that are, according to them, the most important, but it's not only according to them. Obviously, member states have been involved, and all people from these different sectors have been involved to decide upon this, of course. But there are 5 missions that are identified today, and I think they're not supposed to add any new missions in the course, unless I have forgotten anything, but I don't think so. So what are the main issues? Of course, we have the 100 carbon neutral cities, and that we all know. Most of us live in cities, and we know how it can be struggling with pollution and stuff. So of course that is a goal that we are, of course, keen to achieve, and hope that the European Union will do. Cancer, again, we all know, sadly enough, we all have examples among our families regarding cancer. So of course that again is something important to sustain. Protecting and restoring oceans. Most of us, we do like going to the ocean and bathe. So I think that again, cleaning up the oceans and really protecting the oceans is, of course, obviously good. Climate change resilient neighborhoods. That is really not only focusing on cities, but we are really more focusing on neighborhoods and climate change again. That is obviously also something that we all care about very much. And then last but not least, we have soil mission, which again is clearly in line, again, not only with the biodiversity aspect, but also regarding to food safety and nutritional food and so on. I mean, it goes really all the way. So in any case, we did prepare a slide for each of these missions, but maybe no use to go into all the details at this stage, but you can, of course, have a look on it. Because most of them have defined, maybe we went a bit quick now, but they have defined clear overall targets, most of them, which is good, obviously. But for instance, the soil mission, we saw 75% of soils are healthy by 2030. So that is great. I would like to do that, of course. So, and what did we see about the climate resilient neighborhoods? Okay, they wanted to equip 200 local administrative units and regions to access climate climate, sorry, I can't see that due to climate risk profiles and enhanced early warning systems. So that is also, you know, you see they have really clearly defined goals. And I don't know what about the we went a bit quick maybe, sorry. Restoring oceans, okay, there are more vague. And then we have the cities, I think it was like 100 clean cities. No, it's cancer, of course, advanced cancer, genetic risk factors and blah, blah, that is more business unusual, but of course, personalized medicine is still an issue also, of course, within cancer. And then we had the neutral cities, also where they want to train the citizens to become an agents of change. That is also something, of course, interesting, and that is also something that we see much more in various topics of the European Commission, whether it's within Horizon 20, but also within Green Deal, but that we'll discuss further on. The agents of change is something that they really want to work upon as well. Great. Now, we wanted to have a look on the partnerships. We just need to go down to the good slide. I hope it will. Now, let's see.
Yes, there are
our new approach to the cities. Why can't you see our slides? So sorry about this. Maybe try to share again or something. Okay, no. Okay, because the partnership issue, you remember we said in the beginning that they of course want to rationalize a bit the partnership because there are big number of existing partnerships. I guess that maybe some of you have been involved in partnerships related to the, I don't know, fuel cell and hydrogen, or green vehicles, or factor of the future, or health like initiatives in innovative medicines, and even ERANET actions and stuff. So of course, they are still discussing which are the partnerships that will be maintained and maybe fusion together. What we have understood for the time being, of course, it's not really that they will not specifically erase an existing partnership. It's maybe fusioning them together, of course, but they will all be challenged. There is a short list that exists, and I think we'll add the link somewhere. What all these partnerships are about is, yeah, of course, a bit what was about in Horizon 20. We have the health innovations, we have like key digital enabling technologies, we have the metrology, we have EU air traffic and aviation and rail. That will not change. So to say, they will continue the bio-based solution, sustainable bio-based solutions, hydrogen and sustainable energy storage as well. And regarding clean and connected mobility, they will continue, and also innovative SMEs, which is obviously the pursuit of Eurostar's program. So what is rather new within these partnerships, and what is suggested that is not previously in Horizon 2020? Well, you might have heard of the battery initiative, so that is something that will be new. It was kind of launched in Horizon 2020. And what also is new is the automated driving mobility, for instance. That is also something that is new. We've also seen that the Clean Steel wanted to present something that was a bit surprising because they have their own fund, but whatever. So there might be some new initiatives, but whether they will be accepted or not, it's not agreed upon. So we will keep you tuned on those aspects. I'm so sorry that you can't see the slides that what we are talking about, but I hope you can at least hear what I'm saying. So we will maybe talk about the internet. Suddenly something is back now. You can maybe show the slide very quickly, because then you can visualize. Okay, so here you see everything that I talked about. So you will have this, of course, inside afterwards.
Yes, we'll send you the slideshow after the webinar.
Yes, international cooperation. What do you say about that,
as we say, is that we should have extending openness to association, and so they will try, for example, from 2021 to have more association with third countries. For example, for Canada, Japan, or South Africa, they will pay as they go in Horizon Europe, and so they will have to have a fair trade agreement, a free trade agreement, and then they will be able to participate and to put the money, but they won't have to put more in than they get out, and vice versa. So this will be more equilibrated, and this will be more attractive for them, and then this would be easier, because from now on, even if there are sometimes some association or some topics that are dedicated to specific countries. For example, the RES 46 topic, which is dedicated to Canada, the funding for Canadian entity is not that easy for them. It's not it's not obvious.
It's automatic. Yeah,
yes,
they need to apply for their own funds and stuff.
Yes, yeah. And sometimes they don't have own funds, and so we say that we should have these third countries in project, but if they don't have fund, they don't want to participate. So this should be more easy in Horizon Europe. So that's really nice and a good thing for openness to the world.
Yeah, the thing is really, of course, the European Union really wants to be a global leader, and as Myriam said, open to the world. So I mean, at least during the preliminary discussions about Horizon Europe, this has been very much discussed, and it's well, of course, we need to see how it will actually be when the program will be settled. Okay, we have the problem with the slide again. We can just discuss a bit about the open science. So that is also, again, as we said, an important aspect. They want to have a mandatory open access to publications. So that means that the beneficiaries must pay very much attention when they publish, and to check about intellectual property and stuff, and that they do not disclose anything that could hinder a patent following, of course. And they also want to maintain the open access to research data. This was already implemented partly in the end of the Horizon 2020, of course, but this will be much more stringent. So regarding open science, it's a policy that will be maintained and will be clearly present in Horizon 2020. Now, of course, we are still trying to show you the slides, but it doesn't work, but whatever. Myriam is trying to figure out the solution, and we can't see what we've done wrong, but okay. In any case, we also added a small slide regarding widening participation and spreading excellence, and it's a small wrap-up of what the European Commission has been communicating on. But one issue, of course, is that within the European Union, we have different participation. Not all countries are that present within the program, and of course they want to have their share, so to say. So at least they have identified a certain number maybe of member states, and also some parts, regions, clear regions, where they want to clearly push for coordinations. So they have a target of 3.3. Honestly, we don't know how it will actually be not only measured, but above all incentivated. So it's let's see about that. But of course, it's clearly an issue to follow up upon. Okay, what is also maybe interesting to see is the pre-proposal checks. I don't know if anybody present during this seminar has been previously involved in the very old framework programs. I think it was in FP5 and 6. We had these possibilities to have someone from the European Commission that could review an outline of a project idea and give us hints whether the project could be within their scope or not. So this is apparently on the NCP side. So we'll see what that will be about. But of course, obviously, it could be interesting for all of those who have questions regarding the actual scope and relevance of the project idea regarding the clear scope. So in any case, matchmaking, that is also something that we see that European Commission tries to do as much as the more and more. Now, what will actually will be the means behind, we don't know yet. But maybe some of you have followed a bit Green Deal or something like that, and they are talking about organizing maybe matchmaking events. Obviously, matchmaking events will not be, will most likely be virtual events, at least during last part of the year. But any case, that is something that they communicate on. Of course, they communicate on a huge number of issues. What they actually will be behind, we will see. They say hop on. Let's see what they mean by hop on. Will we be able to really include new partners in the course of the project? I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, so this is just some wrap up of the European Commission. Good. Simplify the rules, yeah.
Yes, as we say, one of the key words is simplification. So they will try to increase the use of lump sum and simplify forms of grants in order to facilitate the reporting and the accountancy, the audit costs. So we'll also try to have a broader acceptance of your usual cost accounting practices in order not to claim something that you are not doing usually. And also ensure the reliance of audits you can have made from other parts in order, and from audits that you are doing, for example, in another project, in order not to ask you and to ask European citizens to pay twice for having audits that have already been done. And all this will be done while, of course, ensuring continuity and consistencies for you by maintaining the attractive funding rates. So they want to keep the funding rate at 100% for some topic, and also to try to simplify and to have a single set of rules and not many rules for many different things, as this is really complicated if you are a newcomer in Horizontal Europe and they want newcomers in the program.
Yeah, great. Now, regarding synergies with other union programs, though, I mean, for those of you that have been in the business for a while now, they always talk about synergies, and it will be much more clearer how you can do and what will you can do and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so okay, we can always hope that this will be the case, but this is still to see clearly, because I mean, obviously, at least what they are starting to do a bit is maybe to communicate more, like saying that, okay, within life program you can finance this and this and that, but you cannot fund this and this and that. This is rather in the Horizon 2020 program. Okay, so that if that is synergy for them, okay, that is synergy. At least they maybe pinpoint more among each other, saying like that is for this kind of activity and this is for the other one. So okay, but whether it will actually facilitate to obtain funding for complex projects within all these schemes, I'm not sure at all. That I doubt, but whatever. So that is something they will, of course, as usual, work upon. Now,
so regarding the submission and evaluation process, at the moment there are no certainties, but there have been some discussion and there are some guidelines and keywords that have been decided. So we will present this to you, but please be aware that this is not final. For example, they might review the length of the proposal, as we will say a bit later on, but this is not sure. So what they expect at is continuity. So keep the 3 evaluation criteria, which are excellence, impact, and quality of implementation, and for the ERC only excellence. So this should not change. Also transparency. They will try, because this is a wish that was given and clearly expressed by the citizens and the researchers and all the European people, that we would like more transparent evaluation process. And so at the moment, they try to do their best to make it transparent, but when you receive your evaluation summary report, sometimes you don't feel this is really transparent. Yes. So no. The keywords is that they will try to make it as transparent as possible. So, and also the last point is that it will be adapted to new features. So, for example, the European Innovation Council and the missions. Mission will be broader than the pillars. One mission can include, for example, the 3 pillars. And so the evaluation should also, as this is the goal of Horizon Europe, to cope with the mission and to tackle these challenges, the evaluation should take that into account.
That is, of course, I mean, when you have a look on like issues like that, not a bad point. I mean, it's rather a good point, because as you can see in parentheses, they say like they could have portfolio considerations when ranking and also changes in the proposal. And that is rather a good point, because that means that the project that they actually fund and sustain will really have a complementary approach and will at large bring a greater added value. Regarding the ranking issue, you know that in most calls for proposals today, there is a clear list how they rank equally projects, equal grades of the projects. And I think that the first is SME participation today. I think that is, no, it of course, yes, of course, it depends on, sometimes it's really relevance related to the impact ranking and the impact grade that you have, or excellence, of course. But the second aspect is often SME participation.
Yes, and gender balance.
And then you have gender balance. And that might not be, honestly, the issue and the key issue regarding a certain subject or another. So that is, to our opinion, that's something that could be interesting for us, I think. So. Evaluation criteria. Okay, I don't know if anybody has been participating as an evaluator at the European Commission, but obviously there are, it depends, of course, within the scheme that you are evaluating, but there are a huge number of different sub-criteria that are not always transparent to the project proposers, but even for the evaluators and so on. So they want to simplify a bit and reduce most likely the aspects to be taken into account, and that again is maybe not a bad choice, but anyway how. And they also want to assess applicants during the implementation, so that means really during the implementation of the project, I guess. So well, we'll see what that will be. And also simplify the assessment of management structure. Aiming as being professional in this aspect, we do not maybe fully agree on that aspect, because a successful project is often really a project that is successfully managed as well. So one shouldn't neglect that aspect, but well, it can be adapted also during the contract phase.
Regarding the evaluation modalities, which is a single stage, two stage, for example, the scoring, the keyword is still to simplify. So they would like to reduce the aspects evaluated as first stage, also abolish the substantial change rule for second stage, which is at the moment not possible. They will also examine the application of blind evaluation at first stage, which will need to redraft legislations. Also review, we talked about the rules for the Execo project, so these rules might be redrafted, as Emma said, but we need also to change the legislation for this. And also examine possible recalibration of the scoring system in order to increase I think to make it easier for them to separate between projects, because when you have a project, it's 0.5 is the main threshold, and so you have many proposals with the same mark at the end, and it's really difficult for them to choose.
Separate and choose the good ones. That's obviously.
So the evaluation modality should be changed in this sense in order to make the evaluation easier and to also make the difference between the project easier in the future.
I mean, this is obviously a big issue when you have a huge number of proposals that is evaluated by a big number of people, because you do not have a global overview of really the good project. So it's not an easy task, but again, everything that you've seen here, it's just simple suggestions and stuff that have or are under discussion. It's nothing definite yet. So, but it's just interesting maybe for you to have. regarding the topics in the Horizon Europe, this is what we've also received as info, which is also, of course, a bit interesting though, because you remember the way that the topic structure was formulated during Horizon 20. We had a general description of the situation, then we had the scope of the project, and then we had expected impacts. Now they will, of course, start with the targeted impacts. Obviously, this is really the key issue. What do we expect from this? So this will really be at first, and they will have straight away the scope, and they will have no longer the specific challenge. So you remember, specific challenge was the first part where you spoke generally about the situation and justifying why in clear this topic was important for the European Commission to fund. Well, that is not a bad info as such. It could be interesting, of course.
Regarding the proposal template, at the moment, they don't expect really important changes. One thing that for them does not seem drastic, but for us it can be, is that yes. They observe that when they say 70 pages, we fill in 70 pages. So they ask themselves if they should reduce to 50 pages, then we will do 50 pages. So they also are thinking about maybe allowing compatibility for what we call more radical changes, which is making some videos and so on. This will not be the case in all the projects, but in some projects this could be interesting to have some. This is not only paperwork. You see the people, you see you can present concrete things, achievements, and so on. So this will be another way to work on it.
They already have that in the accelerator scheme, the former SME instrument. Now they have they submit a proposal and they have this video. They select a certain number of proposals that present their project in video. So, and they have like a challenge with a board and so on. So that is of course something that could be interesting, but we'll see about that. Now, regarding the dissemination and exploitation, of course, they have ambitions on those sides as well. Okay, they're huge. I mean, it's nothing drastically new. I mean, they need to continue to put data and results available. I mean, it's clearly in line with the open science aspect. They really want to push for the uptake and valorization, and they want to maybe cluster more on mature research results, and also sometimes make them available to member states and EU regions. That is, of course, valid only for specific kind of projects. No, it's not any project that a member state can claim on the result as such. And they also want to have a more holistic approach for this aspect. Yeah, business as usual, to my opinion, a bit. Open science, same thing.
And yes, the last point regarding open science is you can see the evolution between 2008 and 2021. And so we see that this is more and more important. So at the beginning, you just have open access pilot, then it became mandatory, and we have the DMP pilot also.
Data management.
Data management plan, yeah. Sorry. And now also for Horizon Europe, so open access will be mandatory. Data management plan is already mandatory, but will stay mandatory. And you will have open data by default. You can, of course, always exception and claim that you don't want for such and such reasons, and this can be accepted. But in the philosophy, yes, we should have by default, you will have open data, open science, and so on. So it goes really beyond open access in order to make this as a way of thinking and the way you are making science.
Good. So that was really what we wanted to share together with you regarding the Horizon Europe program, the wrap-up, and the global vision as such. I don't see if you have any questions yet, but still enough, I don't see anything. But if you have any question, just please pop up. What we wanted to share with you in this very end was regarding the Green Deal. I guess that some of you have heard about this initiative, which is a larger strategic plan of the European Commission, of course, to face climate change and ambition, of course. It's a large plan that will go from up to 2030 and even 2050. There are specific areas that are targeted clearly, We are talking about zero pollution and toxic-free environment. We are talking about the clean energy, ecosystems and biodiversity, food, farm to fork, mobility, building and circular economy and industry. Okay, and here, what are the content of this specific program? I mean, we are talking about policy, regulation, standardization, investment, research and innovation, and even tools. Okay, so it's a very complete and very global strategic plan. Regarding research and innovation, and partly it's mostly research and innovation, one can say, they will launch a specific call together with the Horizon 20 program, the end of the Horizon 20 program. I think most of you have heard about this specific call. We here at Ayming, of course, we have draft programs of the call, but I'm sad, I'm not sure we can put it on Slack, but whatever. If you want to have a look, we can take contact with us on a bilateral basis and we can provide it to you. This Green Deal is a really true opportunity for European Commission also to act as a global leader for global change, so for climate change. So the final objective, of course, is really to have a better life for the citizens. So that is why they made this nice little scheme with the father and his son coming home from shopping with nice vegetables and clean house and clear air and whatever. But it's a funny picture. I had to put it in there. Regarding the Horizon 2020 call that is upcoming, they have selected specific areas, and of course you will see that these areas are clearly in line with the different scopes that was on the previous picture. There will be 11 areas open with the specific subjects. One can say, I mean, for us who are heavily involved in Horizon 2020, even though it's a call within Horizon 2020, the spirit is quite different. We are very often on very mature projects, innovation actions with a high TRL level, and very complex and multi-actor approach. And even they have some research and innovation action, but again, always they have this. It's not only research and innovation, it's not only technology, it's really acting with stakeholders and maybe making the citizen an actor of change in some subjects and so on. So it's an interesting call, of course, but we will give you more information on this in September. The call will be launched in September. So, but meanwhile, if you have any questions, of course, you do get back to us and we can give you this information. So we've come to an end. I hope we are not too late, or at least that you're not all fast asleep. Do you, of course, we had a last little poll we wanted to share with you to see whether you, what was your opinion about our webinar, because our ambition in the Ayming Grant School, which is an initiative that we launched beginning of the month, is really to have monthly seminars with our clients and partners to share our common vision and share information and tools for the upcoming Horizon Europe program. So of course we are very much interested to have your feedback and also your needs. If you say, okay, could you please provide a monthly seminar on this aspect, it would be very interesting for us. So please, we are all ears and we are very interested to work on that issue. So of course, do get back to us. We can share maybe go ahead. We can share the poll together with you. So we see that most of you found the webinar interesting, and a small part of you, it's not a small part, it's 18%, found it partly interesting. So of course, for those who found it partly interesting, please, if you have some time, you can always put in the chat area, just maybe tell us what was missing or what you want to go more into detail, or if your frustration is about that there is not enough clear information on Horizon 2020, Horizon Europe program, which is of course a frustration that we all have. But we can have a look on it. If you have anything, please do not hesitate. To conclude, to all of you that participated in this webinar and that are not still on our platform on Slack, Ayming Grant School. We will send you an invitation link, and you can, of course, get into the Slack. Someone, Adrena, maybe wanted to say something. I don't know. Maybe you can open your microphone. Adriana, are you there? I see. Well, we'll try to activate it. No, not sure that we can. It seems a bit complicated. Adriana, if you want to ask your question in the questions or chatter field, please do. We will be. Someone else also had something. Eric. Okay, we'll see if we can see something in the question, because we cannot activate your microphone suddenly enough. We don't know why. Okay.
Okay, so suggestion for the following months is geothermal energy. Okay, make a focus on this.
Okay, and then
hydrogen energy and Horizon Europe. Yes, that will be a really interesting topic.
Next month. What was about the next month? No, did I say?
This is a suggestion for
okay, yeah, okay, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Estrada. I don't know. Okay. Thanks. Someone provided us some information. We will have a look on this, of course. Someone had a question about the Green Deal and Horizon Europe. Sorry, we need to go back concerning circular economy.
Yes.
I don't see the difference between Horizon Europe and the Green Deal. Would a project concerning of circular economy of okay, we don't have the end, but okay, you had a question about Horizon Europe and Green Deal and circular economy. Yes, because in the Green Deal, you have a scope regarding circular economy. And this is obviously also an important part in Horizon Europe. And you can see it in cluster 4, for instance. It will be maintained. They still will be having actions in this. Now, to our opinion, the main difference is really that the circular economy in Green Deal, it's a very wide topic. I think they expect innovation actions project for about 20 million euros investments, which is really global project. And it's also focused on regions. So it's really you should have 3 regions where you have a successful implementation of circular economy in whatever area. So to our opinion, if your circular economy project is rather focused, it's better fitted in the Horizon Europe program. In the Green Deal, I think they only have 60 million euro available for that call. So that means they will fund 3 projects on the topic of circular economy. But again, the topic is very wide. It's not only related to technology, it's also related to governance, it's related to local policies, it's related to involvement of citizens, also combating poverty and so on. So it's the spirit is kind of different. Okay, TRL level in Green Deal. Yes. It of course depends on the topic. They do, in some topics, they talk about TRL, the technology readiness level, and often it's rather innovation actions, but there are several topics that are open for research and innovation actions. So one cannot say that they are all high TRL, but those that are open for research and innovation actions are, I do not have clearly in mind here, but I think food to fork, if I'm not wrong, or something like that. Food to fork is rather research and innovation action. Also the aspect related to oceans and so on, that is also research and innovation actions rather. But in any case, you can contact me directly if you want to have a discussion on that. I think I will see who asked that question. And now, what is?
We have a question about the international cooperation. So that will be following only EU missions.
International cooperation, we don't know exactly how it will be handled within the program, but most likely it will be open more or less within any area, I think. But how they will be involved in the missions, the research and innovation missions, we do not know at this stage, but there might be maybe some open call specifically within the research and innovation missions. Yeah, we can follow that up. And what else? Okay. Okay, we had a colleague of us saying like the area 8 and 7 is open for research and innovation. Can't remember what was the area 8, but we can look on that. Maybe area 8. Ecosystems and no, not okay.
Zero pollution.
Yeah, zero pollution, toxic-free environment, and biodiversity. Not the farm to fork. Sorry about that. Okay.
Yes, farm to fork.
Also approved. Okay, great. And any more questions? Okay. I think we have asked. I think we have seen most of the questions. I mean, we are truly sorry about this catastrophic tool. We will see how we can do it better next time. But I hope still that you did appreciate our first monthly seminar, and we can just hope that it will be much better next time in any case. And it was a pleasure to meet you, and hope we will meet again soon, and keep on touch on Slack.
Yes, thanks a lot to everybody. Have a nice day and a nice summer, and see you very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.